Hello, my name is Andre Guichard, artist, curator, collector, co-owner of Gallery Guichard.
And I'm Frances Guichard, artist, collector, curator, co-owner of Gallery Guichard.
We're here live in Bronzeville at Gallery Guichard for the solo exhibition, virtual exhibition catalog number 44, the solo exhibition of Lakin Akintola, London-based artist, originally from Nigeria, and this amazing exhibition from realism to abstraction. What a beautiful show.
What a beautiful show. It's so good to see you, Lakin.
Yes.
We are so excited for this conversation.
Yes, I am very excited to be here as well.
Welcome to Chicago, brother. Good to see you again and happy to have you back. So, many of you may or may not have caught the similarity of a name you've heard before, Akintola. But Lakin isn't new to Chicago or new to Gallery Guichard. He actually has exhibited before in group exhibitions here. And there's a previous style that you may recognize that we'll talk about. But what we wanted to do is give you an opportunity to get to know Lakin from the outside to the inside and peel the onion back, starting with how did you get started in creating such amazing works of art? When did you start?
Okay, first of all, let me just say thank you once again, Andre and Francis. And I want to say thank you to our viewers at home. The people of Chicago received a very warm welcome. I missed you, so I'm happy to be here. What's the question again? You said, what started me, or what
Motivated you?
motivated me to do this exhibition?
Yes.
It's a dream that's been the long pipeline for a very long time. I've always been into art. I started early in life. I come from a long lineage of artists. I have the Big Brothers, the Ademola Akintola, the Abiola Akintola, the Kola Akintolas. And funny enough, uniquely, we are all artists in my family. I mean, all the men. So I'm the last of in that lineage. And from the early stage in my life, I started drawing, looking up to my brothers and, seeing how things work. Originally, I wanted to become a medical doctor. I did the exam, passed. And I thought I was going there until I was cheated out by the Nigerian system, the quota system, and also I felt, but I'm happy that I found my calling in art. So I studied animal science in the university back at home in Nigeria, and but I had my first taste of what it means to be a real artist in 1990, and that's when I participated in a group exhibition at the American Embassy in Lagos, and my work sold, and that gave me encouragement and the fire to go on. So by the time I got to maybe 5 years down the line before I finished my uni, I already had a small art shop, a small gallery, employed people, and I never worked for anybody in Nigeria. And but when the opportunity came to move to Britain, because my wife is a nurse as well, I went to London, and I had to do other jobs and retrain as a nurse and do painting and art alongside. And so, but sometimes in life you come to a point where you decide, what do you really want to do for the rest of your life? This is what I have always done as a child. I've enjoyed being a full-time artist, but all the things of this world, what do I call it? The necessity of life is trying to choke, life out of you, and you are not able to express yourself. So, and some of the titles of this work, one of them is Soul Searching. It is a time where you come in point in life where you search deep in your heart and you say, what do I really want to do? And that's what I'm doing now. I'm going back to basics. I'm going back to, just like you read, that to the primordial world of creativity, where everything is raw and pure, where, I am myself, I'm true to myself. When I turned 50 a couple of years ago, I decided this is a new stage in my life. I have to be true to myself, and this is part of it. I'm being true to myself, coming out fully as an artist, doing in whatever way I can do or to share my own personal experience. You might be able to relate to some of these experiences. I mean, you and everybody, you might be able to relate to some of my journey as well. So this is what motivates me to do this exhibition. And the title, is from realism to abstraction. Because when you're doing realism, you are more into representational art. Sometimes it's academic, but when you go into abstraction, you are able to pour out your emotion and you tell your story in your own way. You go back like a little child. That's what abstraction is. We all want to go back to that world where we can tell stories like a child. We think like an adult, but we express ourselves as a child. That's abstraction.
That is awesome.
And I'm sorry to jump out of line of questions, but there's something you said that you ended with stories. And there appears to be stories behind each and every one of these pieces. And what is ironic, these stories, your stories, are the same stories everybody else has. How were you able to capture the uniqueness but yet commonplace of your stories and the universality of that?
It's just being true to yourself. Knowing that you are just a macrocosm of a bigger, we live in an ecosystem. I'm a representation of you. You go to London, you find somebody. The last time I came around, I saw somebody that looked like one of my cousins. So we are all the same. I might have a different accent. I come from Africa, and all those kind of things. But our experiences might not be too different. And so I'm able to think about my experiences and bring them alive in my paintings, in my works, and perhaps it might touch somebody's eye and they might be able to see themselves.
So there's a painting called Journey. Can you tell me a little bit about that, including the mediums that you use?
Oh, yes. Let me start with the medium. I use a lot of medium, but for this particular exhibition, I worked with acrylic on canvas and acrylic on board. For that particular piece, the Journey, the medium is acrylic on board. It's heavy in pastel. I use palette knives and I use a lot of paint in my work. So the work itself is inspired by, it's a story. It's a story of my own life too, and I'm telling it. But it was inspired by the poem of Portia Nelson. Portia Nelson she wrote the story of her life in 5 chapters. They said, first chapter of my life, I was walking down the road. I saw a hole on the way. I fell into it. It's not my fault. It took me a long time to get out of it. She got out. The second chapter of my life, I was walking down the same road. I saw the hole. I tried to ignore it. After all, it's not my fault. But unfortunately, she fell into it again. Chapter 3. I was walking down the same road. I know now that the hole it was there. I would try to walk past, but I slipped and I fell into it. It's like it become an habit, man. Okay, the fourth chapter of my life, I was walking down the same road. I knew the hole was there. I walked away from it. Final chapter of my life, the fifth chapter of my life, I took a completely new road. That is the story of my life. I said in my story, I felt cheated by the Nigerian system. I blame them. And you might be there, you might think, oh, maybe I didn't have a good background. You might blame your parents, you might blame the government, you might blame the system, you might blame anybody. It's not your fault you fell into a hole. It might take you a long, long, long time to get out of it. That is the story of my life. That is the story of somebody else.
You're right.
The second time, the third time, until you finally, you realize it's probably, and maybe I'm making some mistake here, and you sit down, you take another, and finally you take another route. So that is the story behind.
Nice.
Yeah, I love how the stories behind art can truly affect a person, giving them hope and inspiration because they see some commonalities in the viewing of the artwork and their own relationship. Excellent.
Thank you very much.
And one thing for certain, this work, all of the work will have synopsises, just enough, a sentence or two, just to get you on the journey. But before we close, there is one other that spoke to me directly because there's a prayer around abundance that I sometimes pray, and seeing your painting Abundance was just kind of really powerful because it speaks about a cup that runneth over, but here it feels like a plate or just an abundance that's absolute. So if you could talk a bit about that amazing painting.
Yeah, the title, the work is a mixed media. Acrylic, heavy acrylic pastel on board and some money coming out of it. I deliberately chose the blues, scale, the values to represent the ocean. When you look at the ocean is full of life, full of abundance, resources. And out of it, you get so many treasures in the ocean. We, the lady represent, and the money as well. You see the money flowing down? It's just my representation of what the richness, abundance, that's just on the surface. I am abundance is that the life of a man does not consist in the abundance of the things that he has, but for out of the belly flows like a river of life. So we ourselves, we are mini God. We are container of treasures. From our heart, we can pour out treasures. So that's the inspiration for the world. We ourselves. Technically, that title might not be grammatically correct. I am abundance, but you are. You are the because you are part of the universe. You're part of God. You are a source of blessing to others.
That's
beautiful. Love it. I would just like to say before we wrap up that your range is so amazing, and I love the heavy impasto, the cubism hints. But if you could speak to the journey from the previous work, the mixed media work, to this work, and which body of work do you enjoy working in better?
Oh, yeah, the last, the works that you sold, I sold through the gallery, is like
almost like umbrella cloth.
Yes.
Right.
And that style of work that is actually, I titled that series Perforamic, because I punch up, I perforate my material to get circles, and shapes that I want. And I use that like confetti to make my works. So when I first got to London, I was working with, I got a job with an umbrella company.
I remember.
Yeah, I got a job as a fabric potter. So I was working, and I fell in love with umbrella and fabrics. I fell in love with, and we threw away a lot of, scrap. And I was thinking, oh, this beautiful, they look like artworks themselves. What can I do with it? So my journey to using this style came from my experience as somebody working in a fabric environment, and so I used fabric, and now I've graduated to using all the materials, but it's still the same size and style, perforating, cutting circles to make those impressions. And I'm working on something bigger, but it's challenging because it takes a lot of time to do that. That's why I stayed away a little bit from it for this exhibition.
Wonderful.
Beautiful. So I would just like to say, study long with this exhibit, for sure study wrong. And part of the excitement of a new opening is how the consumer or the collector will respond. And already 4 pieces have sold before the show opened, so I want to start off with a congratulations.
Yes, congratulations.
That is an impressive feat, and more importantly, this is an opportunity for you to connect with what I would call one of our international treasures, national treasure as we are here in the United States, because this is an opportunity for you to pass on wealth and culture. And you can connect with this work. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. You can click on virtual exhibition catalog number 44 and see this amazing exhibition, and click on the circles to move around the gallery, and then touch the circle to find out title, medium, price, and find the work of art that speaks to you.
Each of these pieces belong in a beautiful home like yours. You will not go wrong. Of course, if the piece that you find is sold that is your favorite piece, you can still contact us for a commission. Similar, not exactly the same, because every piece here is an original piece of artwork, and it's amazing. It's spectacular. You can contact us at www.galleryguichard.com.
And this exhibit is an example of how similar we all are. Whether you're African American or Nigerian or whomever you are, white, black, this is an example how art speaks to and connects us all. Thank you for joining us here at Gallery Guichard, and we'll see you next time. See art, love art, buy art, live with original art.
Art that touches the soul.